Jackson was one of 3 people arrested in the shooting death of Larry Perry in 1999. All 3 men were tried separately, Jackson going first. He was the only one convicted. In the trial of co-defendant Shalimar Cooperrider testified that he shot Perry in self-defense and that Jackson was not there. Jackson filed for a retrial, but a judge, per state law, says Cooperrider's testimony was not new evidence.
And I'll tell you that when Earnest was found guilty, I was, very disappointed and crushed.
When my son was found convicted of this murder, I couldn't go back to her. At the time I was married, my husband told me, you have 3 other kids that you have to look out for. It was wrong what they did to Ernest, but you gotta get your strength back. You have 3 other kids you gotta take care of.
She couldn't do it.
It was hard.
It was hard for her. It was hard. It's like she got hit, but she don't know how to take the hit. It knocked her out, but she was standing, but she didn't know she fell. It was hard. And that's how hard it was.
Jackson did not seem to get the full benefit of our judicial system, and his conviction in a sense seemed just manifestly unfair.
Yeah, so 2016, that was, when he went back to court. So the day before he went back to court, we were talking about, how hopeful we were. We're finally going to be able to, create our family. We have a family, but we want, to actually have a baby together. So we were talking about how excited we were to do that. Just, all the things we were going to do, travel, everything. And then we go to court, and we talked this right before he actually, they transferred him to go to court. He's like, all right, babe, I'm gonna see you in an hour or 2. I was like, yes. I was like, you're coming home, In
2016, a glimmer of hope. The Supreme Court ruled against life without parole for juvenile offenders. But when it came time for resentencing, a judge still gave Jackson 13 years until he is eligible for parole.
And to hear that 60 to 80 sentence was horrible. It was horrible. And to see him, drop his head and lose that hope that he had was hard to see. And I know that he regained it, before he looked at us, because he still had that smile on his face, like he always does. But yeah, it was a punch to the gut, because this was the time for the justice system to correct its wrong, and they didn't do that.
We don't have another 23 years. We don't have we don't have no more years to give them for his life. I want him to be able to come out here, whatever life he has left to live, to enjoy it as a free Black man. And for them, it was always, well, he had to be guilty. He had to be guilty. No one ever wanted to look into it to find out the truth. Jason Whitmer got up there and he got to screaming Ernest's name.
Earnest Jackson was convicted of murder based on being an accessory to that crime. Subsequently, a second young man went to trial and under oath confessed to being the shooter and that he acted alone. He stated that Earnest was not there, and later was acquitted on self-defense. 2 decades later, Earnest Jackson is still in prison for a crime that was determined to not be a crime. If at any time the power of pardon was to be used for justice, then this is that time.
Earnest Jackson is a Nebraska native. We are missing a point. Yes, I am going to interrupt. I am going to be the bad guy.
Oh my God.
And Earnest Jackson is just his name, but this movement is bigger than Earnest Jackson. Oh yeah. There's so many Earnest Jacksons out there that needs to be free from this lynching that has been imposed upon them. Yeah. And now's the time that we have to keep this movement going. Now's the time, keep this movement going, and free Earnest Jackson and all the other Earnest Jacksons that are out there, so they can be free as well, and not keep getting lynched by the system.
I have made a blessing out of an unjust situation. by educating myself, developing a concrete character, by coming to know who I am and finding my purpose for my life. But I know that no matter how dramatic the changes I made are, it'll only get me so far. I can't achieve the ultimate goal of my freedom without you all's help to make the people who wrong me to fulfill their obligation. There's an African proverb that says, if you want to run fast, run alone. If you want to run far, run together. So I look forward to running together in this marathon as a family to one another. So until we reach the other side of these benches, much love.